Hello again. I would like to give a talk on our unique personality. Personality is one of the two gifts that our Father gives to us. It's the Father that gives us personality, and He also gives us the Father fragment, the mystery monitor, the thought adjuster, however you begin to know Him, the Spirit that He sends to abide within us, to guide us, to help us, and eventually to fuse and become one with us. Those are His two gifts. Is how personally he knows us. He knows us two ways through his personality circuit and through the Father fragment. He knows us personally. You can't get much more personal than him. Him that is furthest from us in distance and spirit is the closest. Actually abides within us and someday fuses with us and becomes part of us. Now, each personality is completely unique. There are no duplicates. Not in the entire universe. There's only one personality type. Every other personality is unique also. This has to be so because the Father, in his infinitude, in his absoluteness, in his eternity, he, everything that exists, ever was, is now, or ever will be, is contained within him. And because he is eternal and absolute, he cannot diversify that. It will always remain a part of him. It will be just within him, like a drop of water in the ocean. It's all part. So his master plan was and is to self-limit himself and to create this vast universe to, to represent him, to represent his to represent his self-revelation. So each personality is unique and part represents a part of him, a specific phase, a specific thought, just a very unique part of him. Okay, and each personality has to be unique and has to be different because it's going to represent a different part of God. And as you slowly put them together, it begins to represent more and more of him. So he has created all these. In the first part of creation is the created perfect beings, the perfect beings of Havana. They are perfect, but they are not the totality of perfection that exists within God. To have the totality, you have to have the other side of the coin, the imperfect, that through experience, it's experiential, through experience and growth, reaches and becomes perfect. Now you have the complete perfection that can be represented of all that is within God. So to have imperfect beings from a absolute perfection of a God, he had to um, create ever different levels, lowering levels of himself, which could create lower levels, which could create lower levels to attenuate and become spiritually further and further from him until you get down the evolutionary beings, the imperfect ones. Okay, so that's us. That's where we come in. Us, and I'm sure there's other things that aren't revealed in the book. It also contribute to God's I'm sure that we're not the only thing. But as it is, it's been revealed that that's what we are. So we are these imperfect beings, and with the potentiality, we are temporal right now, and exist within a small frame of time, but we have the potential of, by choice, by choosing to do the will of God, we have the choice to do the will of God, and that we can become part of His eternal revelation to Himself, of Himself. We actually have the honor and the privilege of contributing and participating with God in His self revelation and the eternal growth of the whole universe as it all expands during His self revelation, expands on into eternity. It's an ever growing and expanding and more perfecting and more real and more a part of God, ever deeper and deeper and deeper expansion of Himself for this eternity infinitude. It's never ending. It's never ending. So there will always be more to learn, um, more to represent. Although we, as this one personality, we have to learn to express that particular uniqueness. We have to express that in everything. So we can express that part of God. Can you imagine? Yeah, never mind. I got off the wrong track thought. Um, so again, there's this uniqueness and this non-duplication. So when God is revealing Himself this way, He is actually depending on us. Isn't that neat? We're that we're that important to Him. We're important to Him. He loves us so much, and we're important to Him. So you know we're going to go on. You know we are because it's His will. And if we're doing our will to do His will, then we will be following His will and eternally, eternally representing Him, eternally, eternally representing Him. So, um, but we have a free will, and there are those that sadly may reject this opportunity, this adventure, duty of every citizen of the universe to that's part of our duty. He's depending on us. Him and the Supreme both. We add our experience, part of them. While nothing is new to God, God has changed us, God knows all. But what He doesn't have is the experience of starting as a imperfected being and growing into perfection. He knows the perfection part, He knows the potential part, but the experience is something new. So we represent value in the universe. We represent a new value in two ways. First, there's the imperfect evolutionary material side of us that through free will chooses to do the will of God. Then there's the other part of us that God has put within us, His existential fragment of Himself. He has He has trusted us with, and 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 it abides within us. It's part of us. But soon it will become much more essential part, because at the proper time, we will fuse together. We will be one, divine existential fragment of God, imperfect experiential being, fused for a whole new value, fused so closely that nobody will be able to tell the difference between one and the other. And then in our journey, in our adventure, in our ever perfecting, growing, ever perfecting, and expanding, both in our realness and in our perfection, and God is expanding His revelation along with us, and we're participating in that. It's just so awesome. So now you understand why personality is unique. But again, as I said, we have the free will of choice, and sadly, there are those that decide not to do that. But of course, in the universe, nothing of value is lost. Nothing. That particular personality would not time eventualize in time as a personal separate being. But it will become part of the experience of the experiential God, the supreme being. It will become like a drop of water back in the ocean. It will become part of the whole. In a sense, we are all part of the whole also, because our what we experience and grow is a part of the supreme being. And so when we have exhausted all finite um, possibilities and no more, and all of us have perfected, that's when the supreme being actualizes, because now he is complete too, because he is an experiential God, and he is experiencing through our experiences. So our experiences are a part of him, they're a part of us. They're personalized in us, they're made whole by him. Just like God is personal. God has a personal relationship with every being. Personal. God does when God looks out on the seven super universes, he sees persons. That's what he sees. It's the Trinity that sees the whole, that sees everything, that sees all of it as a whole. God sees it as individuals, individuals, individuals. And he loves each and every one of us with a love that is perfect, unconditional, absolute. So that's what we're going to experience. And, and I think that's about all I can think to say on it right now. So I will end up with, of course, I always say, and never forget, the fatherhood of God constitutes the brotherhood of man. Remember, and teach this wherever you can. We are a whole planet. I don't care what your background is. We are all brothers, all of us. Anybody you see and meet is your brother or sister. God lives within them too. God has created them too. And they have a special, unique personality and a supreme destination, just as you do. And we need to start putting our differences aside and seeing ourselves as a planet, as a whole planet, as a part of a whole universe. And it's a friendly universe. It's friendly to us. So anyway, hopefully, whoever's watching, if anybody, we will all meet up on the mansion. I love you all, my brothers and sisters. I hope this has been of some interest to you. I sure do enjoy sharing it. Thank you very much for watching. And it's time to sign off. Thank you very much.